Hey, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. I was going to look at James and his project and just make a few comments which might clear some of the possible questions that you have been having. James is quite skilled in construction, there's no question about that, and he knows what he wants, and he is not prepared to make the compromises that Beth and I make or me as a foreigner working in housing construction in the Philippines. Now, why would that be? The houses that Beth and I produce, the ones that we work with the Superman team, and the Superman team work unsupervised, except for the fact that my warrior princess may go in and do the tyrant and say, sorry, this has got to be finished in 3 days, you know, which we're not working for profit and we're not working for ourselves, we're working to get a job done for a given amount of money, which has been pledged and gifted to us by subscribers based on the story that we show them on video. So what do? Well, if it's for the blind man, he gets a tiny house with a little seated area and a cooking area in it, and the cooking area and the seating area, because of the gentle climate out here, is open. So that's a very simple house. I think that we did that in 3 days. It might be 4, so don't write in and say no, it wasn't 3, it was 4, because it may well have been, but it was a very, very quick build. Now, we also did the same for the terrible man. It's terrible that he's called the terrible man, because he really isn't terrible, but that was kind of how the title of the house trickled down to the poor man. Anyway, we did those, and we did them very fast. Now, what's the difference between the way that we are working with the Superman team and exactly the same men in the Superman team working for James? Well, James has fixed ideas about how he thinks something should be done, whereas when we set the Superman team loose on a job, on a project, we go along with the way that they want to build it. Now, here's a big difference. When a group of men who are used to working together in a certain way, and they get another project, it goes up like lightning. Believe me, in the first day, even with a high tide, which gradually left, by the way, of course, tides come in and they go out. Well, they got the footings done and they got all of the posts in on the first day. That means that as the concrete in the footings is going off, is curing, they're on to the next stage. Now, how do they work that out? Well, they've got they've got Ballantoy, not Ballalut. They've got Ballantoy, and he has certain jobs that he is given. And once he's given those jobs, based on his prior teaching, his prior instruction and training, he's able to do that job, even though he's only he's just a young boy, he's still at high school. But he works very hard and he works very well, and he's told what to do, and he's fun to work with, so therefore things get done. Now, they're not learning as such when they do one of our houses. The way that it works with one of our houses is that we talk about what's needed for the family that we're going to rehouse. As I say, if it's one person, it's one size. If the people that come to us who desperately need help, like the old couple, remember the old couple that came, Lola and Lolo, and they came and they said that they only wanted a tiny house. Now, they got a much bigger than tiny house, the way that it happened, but they gave us an idea about what they would be happy with. Now, the point is, there's no point there is no point in us going in and putting up something that someone hates to live in. So part of my input is I talk to Timio and I say, make it beautiful. Don't just put something up and it's not and walk away paid for what you've done. Make it beautiful. And because of that, boy, they've taken that and run with it, and now the houses that they build are tiny, they are modest, they won't last 100 years, but they will do the job now and for quite a few years to come. And they took that idea and they ran with it, and now they put little things in, and Beth has a go at them, by the way, and says, no, you've used all the materials, you could have saved on those. But really, we're very, very happy, and we're very proud of what the Supermen team do. Now, do they learn anything by doing yet another house in such rapid succession? Yes, they do, but it's not construction instruction. Now, James is doing, finally on to poor old James, James is doing a house which is going to be in concrete, and he doesn't like the way that the box sections of rebar, let me see if I can, while we're talking, if I can do a little sketch so that you know where am I? We do these box sections and they're like this. We do a box section like that. I hope that you can see that. Now that's in rebar, that's like a cage. And we do those and we put one there and we put one here. And then we put hollow block in between. A very basic drawing, I know. But we do that and we put the brick in between. Now that's for a house like Timio's. That's what the extension that he's doing now, which if you look back at some of the work in progress that we've done on that, the work is going very slow there because Timio's working on it mainly now on his own, and with his sons just doing the carrying and fetching for him, right? But they're not doing it that way on James's house. See, what they're doing there is they're building boxes made of block, and the boxes are like this and they go up and down. Maybe I can do another drawing to show you what's happening there. And what James has had them do right, so if you can see what that is, you're a better man than I am. But if you can see that there, those are the hollow blocks, the cement blocks that you see. Wherever you live, you'll see cement blocks like this. And he's put the cement blocks in, and then he's put rebar on the corners, like that. And the rebar goes in like that. Okay, so the rebar is still in there, but it's not going to go around, because he's going to continue putting blocks in like that. And again. And he's going to end up, if you can see my scribble, he's going to end up with a boxed pillar which goes up like this, made of the hollow block. Inside there's a hole. There's a hole which is about as big as this paper, as this book that I'm drawing on. Now eventually, as they build up, they fill in the hollow block with cement, concrete, and they fill that in, and they fill the center part in as well. So eventually it will be a solid block of concrete, and it will have on each of the corners, it will have rebar or reinforcing bar, and that's how he's prepared, that's how he wants to do them. Now the Superman team don't do it like this. They do it the other way, where it's the caged pillars, and then they shutter that up with plywood to hold all of the concrete in, and then they pour the concrete in the top, and they tap on the wood on the shuttering, and that brings all the concrete down. It disturbs it and it falls it down, and that's how they make their pillars. James is making his in a different way. He has personally laid probably thousands of such blocks, and they do it differently there, and he's not trying to change things completely, but he is showing a different method of doing something. Now the moment that learning comes in, the rate of the job, the rate of progress goes down, because now people are looking at it and saying, oh yeah, so you want me to do this and that, and then, oh okay, let's put that here and that there, and they're working creatively but in a different way. They're actually learning on the job, and that will slow things down. Now he will get the job that he wants done, because when he needs to, he steps in and he says, this is how I want this section of the job to be done, and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. So he will get the job done himself and properly. Now there's a couple of things that I mentioned in the last video, the work in progress video of day 7, and that is that obviously I would do things differently, but I liked the way that he had done that. That really made sense to me, and I thought that that was a clever idea. I think possibly he could have stuck some more rebar down in the center into that hole, but he said he wasn't going to do that. So anyway, the part that I would have liked to have seen change is the level of the ground. The ground has been dug out into a hill. So let's do another. Oh, it's all drawings today, isn't it? There's the hill. He's dug down like that, and he's come out. So that's the hill, okay? And they're coming down the hill, so they dig this out and take all of this material that was here, and they push it up and over the edge. So it goes over the edge there, and it extends the working platform. Now personally, what I would like to have seen would be that a retaining wall is put in. That's what I would like to have seen. So there's the level of the hill. I'd like to have seen a retaining wall put in, and that's our retaining wall there. Okay, now the beauty of that is when you put the retaining wall in, there's no moving out of too much material. You're not moving anything back again. Whereas when you pour, if you've ever been to the beach as a kid and you've gotten the dry sand and tried to make a sandcastle out of it, as you put the sand down, let's say that you've made a say that your basic sandcastle is like that, you can pour as much as you like on top of it, but all that it will keep doing is moving out more, out more, out more. There's I'm sure that there is a scientific technical name for this, but the way that the height of it is dependent upon the base. So the ratio between the base and how wide the base is dictates how high the peak can go. So doing it that way would have meant that not so much material has to be moved, because probably he would have dug down a little bit deeper in order to get that material, and that would have been good too. So that's the only thing, but other than that, I see that the job has come along very well, and it's very interesting for me too, because it's another man who knows what he's doing coming in, and he's managing in a calm, quiet way without getting upset as an expat, which I always say that we tend to do, and he's getting done what he wants. And even though there will be a slight decrease in the enthusiasm of the team, this is inevitable, because now they're all students in a way. They're using their experience, yes, and it's easy to explain something to them, but now they're kind of, well, this is not how we usually do it, and we're usually so fast and this is slow, and you'll get all of those reactions and responses. But it looks like he's working through those very well, so I've been very impressed. And that gives you an idea of the different challenges that are there for the house that James is building. So I talked about it with James today, and probably if we can get some soil delivered to shore up that one corner that several subscribers said I'd like to have seen some more solid ground around that one corner where there wasn't enough dumped material, dug out material. But other than that, people have been very impressed and happy and interested in seeing what's going to be done, me included. So we would love to be able to get the cement mixer up here, but it's down at Timio's, and as soon as this is over, he's going to be using it again, and it's such a nightmare getting it up and down that road, such as it is, that we've tried to avoid it. Now that is one thing that we can deal with in another time, but just that is an update and something of a breakdown of the method of building that James is using. I think that he clearly knows what he's doing, quietly, confidently, and without upsetting everybody. So this has been A Foreigner in the Philippines. Good to talk about something which somebody else is doing and which is interesting. Thanks for looking in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, as my dear wife always says. Bye for now.